Okay, video number 3. Again, plant was flowering for many months. You see how many flower stalks, and also neglected roots. Only roots here, you could see it in clear pot. And what I want to do with this, I don't want to separate it into individual rosettes. I want to separate it in just 2-3 pieces, divisions. Let's see if I could do that. Remove it from a pot, try to do it when plant is really dry. It's easy to remove soil when plant is dry, and I even sometimes heat it even like that. That perlite is really, now I'll probably have to use fork again. Okay, but before that, let's see. Actually, first thing, what could be done with that plant, it could be reported to larger pot, and that's why again I like many different pot which I have. Like if I buy special azalea pot, I will have only 3 choices. Like next would be this one, which is I believe 4.5 inches. A really shallow one. I don't like it because too much evaporation, and this would be too big. So I would take probably this one, styrofoam cup from Gordon Food Supply. So this is about right. As I said, I would make a hole with a flower, with a lobster fork, done, and we could put soil here, make a little, like something which when I was 5 years old, I remember I was doing it in a sandbox. I guess the older we're getting with it, the more we look like when we were children. So I'll just put it here. Boom, ready. But this time I'm going to remove poor plant. And certainly if I plant it here, I don't need to put it in a greenhouse or dome. But I'm going to do it differently. I want to rejuvenate it by rejuvenating both root system and plant itself. Oh God! So there are many different rosettes there, and I don't think that I will be able to do it right way. There is a many way how this plant could be cut. Let's do this. I just separate it in 2 and see what happened after that. Maybe we won't need even greenhouse dome to. So like just make little cut. Then separate root system. Try to save as many roots as possible, which is impossible. Here I see that very bad soil. Okay, now let's look at this one. We have a one rosette here. This one. This is younger leaves. We have a central rosette here and another rosette here. So we actually could plant just this plant. But since we this plant in stress after what I've done to it, I have to help it by removing peduncles and try to hold the leaves when you pull dry or fresh peduncles. They still evaporate, so then I would definitely cut. This plant wasn't watered for a few days. I'm sure that this root system wouldn't be enough, so I would cut, maybe it's like that, and see if I could. Maybe I'll start from that side. So I make it kind of loose it with a sharp end and then use a flat end to remove as much old soil as possible. This fork appeared to be absolutely indispensable. I love it. I have a few of them. Okay, so here's a nice loose roots. I will make little maybe cuts here that roots could protrude into fresh soil, but I'm not going to drastically remove soil like I did in previous two videos, because I want to make it bloom as soon as possible. So I have to leave as much root as possible, but at the same time remove old soil. So it's kind of balanced trade-off. You see, I'm used sharp one, flat one. So nice, right? See, this plant will bloom very soon. Now I have to think about pot. Too bad is I think it's too big. Maybe not, actually, maybe not. So I think what the proximal form of the hole I have to do, I remove it, take a soil and make this like a slit-like hole. So it should be not soggy, just wet, with a better wet with a reverse osmosis water, but normal water is okay. I prefer reverse osmosis water because I know exactly what's there. And then I fill the rest here, and truly I do not know whether this plant need doming, put into greenhouse or not. I could leave it till tomorrow and see if it stay like that. I won't do anything else, or I could put it under the dome as I showed before for a couple of weeks and cover it, or I get a right plastic bag which is nice and thin. Cover it. And see how it's very good that edge doesn't have a ziplock, and just nicely tight it here and get exactly the same pot and secure it with a second pot already. That's it for this one. And second division is a little worse because it's definitely this rosette. It also has many rosette, one rosette and couple of rosettes here, central rosette. I don't know. I think I would remove this rosette, it's too much, throw it away, and actually remove all of the buds and peduncles. So I will show it. I try to do it quickly, not to use your time. Okay, done. I don't like it's kind of wobbly here, but see what happened. So my first cut was better, but it absolutely will survive. If you're not sure that you're doing right thing, maybe first time don't remove many roots as I'm doing now and stop, maybe like that, but I usually prefer to remove as much old soil as possible. I think that's enough. Maybe it's not bad. So I will try to put ground level, not like it was before, but here, because both rosettes a little higher than before. So I will take a pot, which I don't have now. So that's, how about this pot? This is a little bit too small for this, but let's imagine that I would take from my previous division. This pot would be perfect. scissors, little cuts, does not matter how many, what size, as long as you have a right soil. And you could just do what I done before. It's just take pot, little hole, put it inside. Mark, are you okay?
I'll live.
You live. Okay. No, I think that I didn't do a good job, so I have to make it deeper. The hole and put it. So, and put it here. Then around, I'm showing here. Don't forget that needs to be a little lower than it was before, because 2 rosettes staying lower. So I think that would be perfect. Old leaf, I might remove that old leaf. Again, it's drooping because it was very dry. Well, maybe I'll leave it or cut it in half. And this definitely needs to be removed. It's already yellow. And okay, now this plant could be again put in a bag, in a plastic box for like a few weeks, or under the plastic bag. I think that is it. Wait a second, I want to show something else. As I said in previous video, I could also try, and actually I'm going to try, to remove all of that peduncles, all of them, and put it to larger pot with removing some of them. You see, this root ball is much better than previous one, because you could easily, without disturbing too much root, you could easily remove a lot of soil, especially from a surface. You see, I'm really cruel to the plants. I guess they like it because they bloom non-stop all the time. So this is not so bad, and I now try to find a pot. Not too small. Maybe my styrofoam one. This probably would be perfect for this one. So it already was ready. I will just, first I will remove all peduncles. I wanted to have a rest and start to use new soil and then bloom again. When I can't remove it, I just remove it with the scissors as deep as possible. We don't need evaporation from peduncles. Try to maybe spread leaves nicely. Maybe remove some weak leaves, like this leaf, like small one. I don't think it's under, it's never going to bloom. This rosette's not so bad. You have to look at younger leaves. If younger leaves are really tiny and thin, it's not going to bloom. But this look like one rosette good, this rosette good, and this rosette. So, and even this buds, I'm going to remove it because I want to give it a break. And it's going to this pot, boom, like that. And we cover it with soil here, here. And here. This old leaf could be removed. It's maybe I didn't water them for too long time. Could be cut. This piece could be cut off too. Okay. This plant doesn't need to go to a greenhouse. Going to bloom quite soon. That's it.